All right, I think we're live. Can you guys see me? And can you hear us? All right, can you guys hear us? Hey Ed, hey Ashley, hey Matt. How do we sound? How do we look? Very clear, and you hear me. Seeing, okay, good. Well, I got a new boom mic thanks to a good friend of mine down in Florida. He sent it up. And we are solely on Starlink tonight. We have found that we had one outage earlier for probably about a minute, and that was it. It's to be expected with outages here because they don't have a lot of satellites up here yet. So, you know, we can't expect it to be perfect right off the bat. I mean, they're still expanding here.
And there's a lot of space to expand into.
Hello, Bill. Hello, Rutherford Roamings. Hang on, Bill. I need to do something here. Let me see. Bill, I did add you as a moderator, so you can share people's links and stuff like that. Matt says that there are 3 or 4 satellite trains that aren't active yet, plus just launched another one the other day.
Oh,
good.
That's good progress.
Yep. If they can keep them coming, it's all the better. And they actually dropped the price because when I actually picked it up on Monday, they said it was $114. And when I got it all installed and got onto the website tonight, it was, I think it was $90 flat. So, and it's 1 terabyte of usage, and we'll never use that. I mean, with hotspot for the TV and stuff, we don't watch a whole lot of TV. We're lucky if we go through 100 gigs. So it'd be good. Hey, Nomi.
Hey, David.
Sorry, my phone's been going off all day trying to find some stuff. All right. Does anybody have questions, things like that? I see we already got 8 people in here. That's good. Ed, I see you're still on the boat. That's good, but not good. I'm sure you want to be home. It's different when you're doing it for pleasure versus riding for work. Hey, Brun. What's the story? What's the story with the snow machine that got stuck?
Boy, did it get stuck.
Our creek started flowing about 2 days before I decided to go to town to go to the doctor, stuff like that. And I knew it was a risky thing taking the snow machine down there with the trailer because that area is pretty low lying. Sorry, can you put the blind up on the window? I'm getting the glare on my face. And when I come back, I noticed part of it was flooded out already right by the tracks. I managed to get over that by going over another section that was solid, so with snow. And I got to the lower trail where the Y, where the upper trail meets the lower trail. And I knew the bridges, or my bridges are only about 4'1" across, so they're real narrow. And that's one of the projects this year. Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want to try going across it because I didn't know how much snow sloughed off to the sides, and I didn't want to go into the water with the machines. So I decided to go up the upper trail. I start going up, not an issue on the first section of the hill. And Dave's been out here, know me, and he knows how the trails are. The front trail, the upper trail is pretty steep. I started going up it, the second hill, made it almost to the top, and I got bogged down where the trailer was trying to come over that last little hump. So I started backing down, and I got about 5 or 6 feet because I was going to try to make a run at it. And so I better go back about another 5 feet. And I went back another 5 feet, and I got sucked off the trail by the soft snow. So I wound up walking back to the house, grabbing the pull trailer, grabbing Sarah. We went down, we loaded up a few more things. Hey, brook trout. And we put one load into the pull trailer, and we walked it back to the house, put it in the house, and went back. But I grabbed my high-low jack that you would see in the old cars or Jeeps and stuff like that. Piece of plywood. I don't know. I think it was actually a 2x12. Stuck on the ground, jacked it up until it kept getting higher and higher. Then I pushed it over, onto the firm snow, and I was able to back it out and then ride it up to the top of the hill. And then we hand loaded it, or used a hand trailer and pulled everything up to the top of the hill, and then pulled the other trailer up, and then loaded it back in there, and managed to get back to the house without an issue. What I was mad about is I just bought a brand new belt for my Tundra. I got it all installed, and I have the same issue. It'll rev up. I might creep maybe 1 or 2 feet, and then it stops. I have a feeling that the spring broke, so we'll see what happens. Let's see who I've missed coming in. Hello, ARF 3rd. Yeah, well, the Scandic it's got a 20-inch track, Ed, and I've never had a problem. I've only been stuck with the older one once, and that's because I went through powder that was really, really fresh and about 4 feet deep.
And we were early up here too.
Yeah.
We didn't know the trails that well at the time.
Right. And I've only been stuck one other time, and it was in the same exact spot. Our first winter here, I was running up the hill, and I was coming back with a full load of stuff from town. Got halfway up the hill to the same exact spot, and I had a bull moose come charging down the hill at me, so I had to ditch off the side. Otherwise, we're going to have a head-on collision. That time, it took me 3 days to pull the machine out. It was that buried. Hey, Adam and Phyllis. Last cut the cord.
Guys.
Oh, it was an adventure, Matt. It's always an adventure up here. Hey, Seashell. Let's see if I maybe scroll back, see if I missed anything. Brooke, that's right. You're in Venice, Florida.
Ah.
We were down in Punta Gorda for many years. I had my store in Venice. Bill and Naomi, thank you for posting people's links. Really appreciate that.
Right.
See if there's any questions I missed. No questions. We have laundry out on the line on the front porch drying.
Really
So we should be a little nicer to do it in the house instead of seeing the laundry flapping around. Yeah, that's true, Naomi. If you're going to be on a snow machine, you're going to get stuck. He said it's buffering for a few seconds, Bill. Yeah, like I was saying, you weren't here, but when I first come on, I expect to have issues with connections at time. It happens.
It will get better with time.
Yeah.
And development.
All right. So Ed says my Tundra clutches don't like any belt residue on them. Scuff the burnt rubber off and clutch and spray. A fine Scotch Brite helps mine. I'm going to give that a try. Before I know if I blew the spring on, started building the chicken coop. I have no place to lay it out. As soon as the chickens are out of my mechanical building, I will get in there with both the snow machines, get them cleaned up, and set away for the summer. But I'm also going to do the maintenance on them, get them greased up, change any parts that need to be done, work on the belt with this one here, and go from there. But the old 07 Tundra or Scandic is running perfectly. Only issue with that is when it was delivered up here by the Tundra truck, it did lose its windshield and its beauty ring around the eyebrow or the headlight. Mm-hmm. I've got to order one in, and then they'll reimburse me for that for the damages. I just got to get on eBay and order it up.
Yeah, the train is good about that. They take the care that they can possibly take.
Am I still coming through okay? Oh my, I can cheat. I can pull it up on my phone and see if that's coming up. You're good now. Yeah, like I said, I expect a little bit of delays here and there. I can't expect it to be perfect all the time. So I'm just going to bring it up on my phone, and we'll just over there I can know when I'm on and when I'm not. All right. Yeah, like I said, I know it's not going to be perfect right away. It'll take time. And so he fixed it by closing it and reopening it.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well.
Buffered a wee bit earlier. Matt said he looked at a map and there was a bit of brief gap. Yeah, like I said, I'm not expecting to be 100% perfect yet. No, Dave, I did not set up a video doing the Starlink. I've got an issue going on with my camera. It keeps losing video footage, so I think my card is corrupt, so I'm gonna have to put another card in it. Hello, Original 6. Yeah, I didn't tell you about that when I was in town filming stuff.
No.
I was having a problem at the train depot. It was saying file corrupt all the time, so I'm hoping it's still on. I haven't looked at it.
The train is such fun stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I was trying to film basically from the what do you call it? From the Airbnb I said, packing everything up, packing it into the truck, unpacking at the train depot, watching it go onto the train, and then getting it off. I'm hoping some of it stays on there.
We obviously didn't get any film of the stuck and the unstuck.
Yeah, no. Well, you could see me getting stuck, but you don't want to see that. There was a lot of cussing. Airline and Kid, how are you doing there, Mac? Good to see you in here. Somebody just asked me a question. No, actually, I have not seen any of the Wolverines in about 2 weeks. I did have a little bit of video from the one. I haven't posted it yet. He was down there and he was just munching on it again. No, the other one, that was the one that was walking by.
He was walking by.
Yeah, he was walking by the railroad stop. And you're looking at him, and all of a sudden the camera clicks on him. All of a sudden he kind of turns, looks at the camera, and scampers off pretty quick.
Yeah.
You never get stuck. Is that a Pinocchio nose on that one there, Red? It looks like it. Yeah, I know you want to see me get stuck, Dave. Ed never filmed some stuff getting stuck. Well, I'll leave it in. I'll just have to bleep out a lot of them. You know what I mean? Hello, our cabin in the woods. How are you doing today? Danielle, how are you? That's Summerfield Draft Horses.
Oh.
For those that don't know, Danielle was in a little video that we did about the weather and during the wintertime. Danielle is a good friend of mine.
Oh,
I think I've known you since 5th grade, Danielle. I can't remember, but it's been a long time.
That was really
and your last video you did, I haven't get a chance to catch up on yours yet, Ed. I'll have to watch it. Junior high school? No, I thought it was Dairy Village School we met. I think it was at Hood.
Junior high.
Yeah, I think it was 5th grade, Danielle. Oh, and watching that video of yours with the foal being born was nice. I like that. That was good to see. Yeah, very long time. We're getting old. All right, ask some questions, guys. And thank you, Bill and David, Nomi, for posting some more links up there. I appreciate that. Our cabin in the woods. We'll see. He's probably talking to Bill. Bill's going to the Mid-America meetup down at Tenkiller. I don't know, Danielle. I'm gonna mess with it here. Ed gave me a couple suggestions on how to check things to see. It might just be that my belt's not sitting right, so I'm gonna take the belt off, scuff it up like he said, see what happens. No, Adam, you know my chicken coop's not done yet. We talked about that when I was at the house the other day.
Rub it in.
Or is it Adam or Phyllis that's on? I need clear ground to be able to set up the chicken coop.
Yeah, we can't even tell where the ground is.
No, we've got one section or 2 sections by 2 trees where we have. Run free lost me. See, it's still popping up on mine. I can see it on mine. So I'm watching it on my phone to the side, so I keep looking over, and I can see it over there just fine. Maybe it's on your guys' end, not ours. But we've only got 2 spots where there's like maybe a 10-foot section that's not snow, but most around the house, it's still a lot of snow.
Yeah, there's a little bit of ground where I've been shoveling the snow to put in the back of the heating containers on the back of the cook stove to melt the snow for water.
Yeah.
But that's just because I've been digging like crazy and getting it all out of there.
So Ed says he had buffering again and dropped out of the live and back in and fixed it. Like I said, I'm watching on my phone here, and it hasn't stopped yet. So maybe it's something going on the other end. I'm not sure. See, I just watched myself put it up there.
Right, technology.
I don't know. It's weird.
Mhm.
No. Well, I haven't really, since I got back yesterday, Ed, I haven't wandered down to the lower trail yet. And the lower trail is generally where the bears go.
Mhm.
So probably later on this evening, I'm going to take a walk down there and see if I see any tracks. I'm waiting. I want to get a nice little black bear, or 3 or 6. Yeah. She says that until they're chasing the dog down the trail.
Right, yeah.
You know, or she's sitting down at the tracks and she sees 5 or 6 or 7, 8, like we did last year, going across it one time. You know, last year we had a pretty bad bear
They were fairly
infestation.
far away.
Yeah, well, that one wasn't.
Well,
Then we had a little
it was coming this way.
creep that was on the front porch.
Yeah. He was not a little creep. He was a good sized creep.
Yeah, he was a rather large brown or black bear.
Had no trouble in the window.
Yeah.
Like, ah.
Poor Zeus did not like that.
No.
See, I'm not getting all the questions are not all popping up on here. I can see some over there. Ed says it probably, I'm looking at it on my phone. It says it probably sitting in my cabinet and there. It just popped up on mine. I hope not, Ed, because I know they make a mess. I know the first thing they like to do when they go in there. Bill, zip it.
I can't read it.
He's busting my chops about the chicken coop. They all are.
Oh, yeah.
You guys want to come up and bring a snow blower so I can clear out a section? Yeah, I'll start building the chicken coop. Can you put a little bit of sugar in my hibiscus tea?
Yes.
I'm having Sarah get my hibiscus tea for me. Fancy me by the time I get, okay. Ed, which one do you use? Because we're interested in getting an electric fencer around here too. Yes, Danny, we are still thinking about a puppy, and it's still probably going to be a Leon Burger. Probably not this year, probably the year after. We're just trying to save the money up. We want to get a tractor set up in the springtime.
Tractor would be
Tractor's important for us. We need it to do a lot of work up here. No, yeah, you're right, Dave. Bears don't chit in the woods. They chit in your living room, and on your bed, and on your sofa, and on your floor. Everywhere but where they're supposed to chit. Yeah, the tractor is more important. Yeah, we're just trying to find the right tractor. I mean, we've looked at some of the ones up here. I'm torn between getting something here or, I hate to say it, ordering something from China. But I mean, even the ones we're buying here are coming from China or Korea. So if we can save a few bucks by manufacturer, we might do that. It just takes a little bit longer to get in. But it's also probably about $10,000 to $15,000 cheaper. Harmac Energizer, 50 miles, 6 joules. That'll knock something for a loop.
2 scoops or 3? I can't remember.
2's fine if it's 3.
2's good. That's all I do.
Thank you.
Needs more stirring.
Oh, that's fine. Sorry. So, let's see if I missed anything here. And it only protects 100 feet of my porch. What do you got, about 6 layers going around that, Ed? Hello, Oklahoma Grammy. Ashley, we won't have the tractor airlifted in.
Oh, God, no.
Because when I'm going to get it, it costs a lot to have it lifted in. We'll just have the tundra truck bring it up, and I'll drop it down to the side by the tracks. The tundra truck can actually lift up around 6,000 pounds. And if it's over that, they can bring up the flatbed with the excavator and use the excavator to pick it up and set it down. When I get it, it's going to have a loader on. It's going to have a backhoe and probably some kind of mower deck. I need it to be able to do what it's got to do up here. It's got to serve multiple purposes. And I'd like to get a harrow or even a plow system for clearing up some of these fields and putting veggies and stuff in. Probably just the tiller attachment is probably the best thing to get. Because once we get down about a foot here, it's all cobble. and it'll make a mess. Hey, Brooklyn's Frugal Pantry. Good to see you tonight. The snow blower, yeah.
The first year we thought that'd be a great idea, but we just trumped the snow down.
Yeah, we shoveled and
And
just
shoveled
walked
and
over it.
trumped.
Certain places like going down to the outhouse where we take the pea balls for our composting toilet, I just rode the machine down there and just packed it down pretty good.
Mhm, that helped. But it's quite a hill and it's slippery.
Yeah, it is. It's unfortunately a lot of the things here, because we are on a hill, it's kind of steep to get to certain things. Summertime it's not bad at all because it's like little terrace stairs going down. We use with logs and stuff. But in the wintertime, you go for a slip and slide. It's not gonna be fun. Sarah's taken a tumble down there once or twice already. Was it last year, wasn't it? You took the fall down there.
Yeah, I usually just make a little bit of a slide, say, a 2 or 3 foot slide, and end up on my seat or trying to get up from my knees.
I had to go down and help her get up the hill.
I was stuck. When it's up above your knees, when you're sinking into the snow above your knees and you're a certain age, it's hard.
Yeah, Matt, don't laugh. I've actually thought about a zip line though from by the other cabin to across the way where where it's
Yeah.
cleared out for the Denali view over there. I've thought about it because that'd be kind of fun.
It would. And it's a gorgeous space.
Zip line to your cabin. That's a little far away, Mac. I don't think I have a tree haul tall enough to hook it in to get down that half mile that we are between us.
And there's no clear enough spot to make a person fit
Yeah, there's a lot of
through the
trees.
trees.
For those that know, Carolina Kid is a friend. He's down in Florida. He actually purchased a cabin up here that my mom was trying to buy. Have not really mentioned this too much on my Facebook or online. My mom is in Georgia now. She has some health issues, and we all thought it was best if she didn't stay up here. So she's back down south and enjoying life. But Mac, Carolina Kid, is in the middle of purchasing the cabin that she was buying. Looks like our overnight temps gonna be about the same up here, Bill. Maybe a little bit cooler. No, it's all right, Brooklyn. It was for the best for her not to be up here because there are no roads. The only way in and out's helicopter if there's an emergency. And I'd rather not see her up here. And she kind of understood that in the long run too. I got the standard one, Matt. I wasn't going to pay $1,500 for a high performance one. That was just ridiculous. Come on, guys, questions. Is it planner, small ski lift, or tram ride?
Yeah. Ski lift would be wonderful.
Let's get the chairs.
Yeah. But it would be hard still to get stuff up here.
If we get the tractor, I might just build it would load all the stuff in it, or people to come up and just bring them up that way, or with the side by side.
Mm-hmm.
Mac, we still got probably about 2 feet, maybe 3 in places. I have hibiscus tea in the cup tonight, Ed. It helps with blood pressure, stuff like that, and my blood pressure's been up a little bit today.
Probably from yesterday's adventure.
Right. Bill says, what are some of your summer plans and how big of a garden? Basically, the garden this year, Bill, is just going to be what we can get into the greenhouses. The land is not ready for planting here. That's why I need the tractor. There is all kinds of trees down here, and it's extremely hard to get things into the ground with all these trees. I mean, you can't even ride a wheeler much more than 50 to 100 feet, and you're running over dead logs.
And stumps.
And stumps. The
The
stumps are
still
everywhere.
in there. But the greenhouse over the barn is fairly good size.
Yeah, we should
It
be able
will
to get
be pots.
Yeah,
It'll be
container gardening.
container gardening. But I think we'll certainly do more than last year. All we got last year was
Bunch of cucumbers,
Potatoes.
a couple squash, and some snow peas.
yeah, but by the time I was the squash were ready to pick, I went into the little greenhouse and looked at there was a beautiful yellow squash and we were going to have it for dinner and it was gone.
Yeah, son got in
I
and
mean,
ate it.
somebody went in there and ate every squash. Every one.
All right. Brooklyn, in the fall, we'll be doing some canning.
Mhm.
Just gotta figure out what I'm gonna can.
And jellies.
Yeah, jellies. We love making fireweed jelly. It come out
Yeah.
so good.
Oh, it did.
Our cabin in the woods temperature right now currently is 55.8, and it is sunny out. It is
It's
really nice.
beautiful.
On the ground, we'll probably do some raised beds, Bill. We've just got to clear spaces for it and put something around to protect it from the moose. My seed potatoes, Ed, I was dealing with some folks here in Talkeetna, and they sold me a bunch of Yukon Golds and the French fingerlings, which I love. And we saved part of a bag and let them go to seed. They're almost ready to go into the ground since we can get a ground to put them in.
There's a little, it might have been an herb garden long ago, but there's a little fenced space and that ground is nicely prepared. I
Yes.
think Nancy had done a really good job. When we got here, there was a big carpet
Yes, they
on
put
top of it. So it was in good shape
they put a carpet over to keep the weeds at bay,
and it worked.
and it did work.
And that's where the potatoes came up.
Yeah, and we got quite a few potatoes out of there. But we planted really late last year.
Mhm.
I mean, really, really late. Had we put them in when I wanted to, we would have had a lot more. Yeah, I thought about the upside down gardens, but the greenhouse is quite big. So if I spread everything out, I can get a lot up there. I just got to get a sheet of plastic to put down because it's just boards up there, and any watering will go right down to the floor, to the next floor down, which is my workshop, my wood shop. Yeah, I'll sometime in the next week or so, I'll do a video over in the big greenhouse over there. It's a mess. We've got to get new panels for the side because it was just film plastic, and it was ripped up firstly by the storm we had 2 winters ago, and then it got ripped up this winter. So I'm gonna get more of the plastic PVC, hard plastic to put on the sides, and then it'll be a lot better.
And perhaps we can use the remnants of the walls, the thin plastic, on the floor. Maybe layer it so it doesn't leak through to the floor beneath.
Yeah, in my workshop.
The workshop and the wood shop.
Ed says he's going to be working on his 12 by 40 high tile project soon, and also maybe another 12 by 40.
Wow.
Nice.
Nice. Ours is wide. And how long do you think
Ours is
greenhouse
I think it's 16 by 20 is what the greenhouse is.
16 by 20. It's a nice size.
It's fair size. We have a small one on the ground too, but it's pretty bad shape.
It is.
It's old. All right, let's see what Brooklyn's Frugal Pantry says. With the shortages they're calling for, if I had room, I'd be planting everything I could that I use productive wise. What are the shortages? Because we don't watch a lot of the news, and I try to stay off any newsy websites. It drives me nuts. Yeah, I'd be fencing it in too, Ed. Yeah, during the summer times, we don't have a whole lot of moose come through the property. They do occasionally, but not very much. Actually, I think we had more bears on the property last year than we did moose.
I think we did. The moose do follow the trails.
Yeah.
The first winter we were here, there were moose walking through the yard fairly often, but last winter, not so much. I think we make enough noise and hubbub to kind of make them
Keep them
nervous.
away. And I generally keep a radio playing, like in the chicken coop, stuff like that.
Yeah.
What's Bill say here? Oh, it's stuck in the head.
Mm.
Yeah, I agree. The view from Ed's porch is quite nice. The droughts, potatoes, tomatoes, basically everything grown. Great.
Good.
You know, I did see something on one of the news things, and you know, I don't really watch too much. It was something about a Middle Eastern company came in and bought up a couple large farms somewhere where they're in a drought, but they were using all the water they had because they wanted to plant in the fields or water the fields, and everything around them was green lush, but nobody else had water.
Nobody has- oh, that's
And it was
pretty-
kind of disgusting.
Yeah, that's quite inconsiderate.
Yeah. Yeah, so I purposely don't watch a lot of the news, and half the stuff you get on social media, you don't know what to believe and what not to believe.
Except guys. And our friends.
Yeah, every area is a little bit different. Our cabin in the woods. Some areas you get a lot more moose. We had a lot of moose last summer, not at the house, but on the trail. We had a cow with 2 twins, and they made it almost all the way through winter, and unfortunately, they disappeared.
Last year, the train took out a lot of moose, but the first year we were here, but last year not. I didn't hear about so many.
Yeah, no. Let's see. Ed's asking, is there a shortcut to type in names for responding? Yeah, if you're on a computer, Ed. On a phone, it's not so easy. Yeah, Brooklyn's frugal farm, our pantry. Yeah, it's crazy. I'm hoping we don't have a food shortage. That will not be good.
It'd be tough.
Yes, I agree. Actually, it is definitely better for our mental health not to watch the news.
It is.
Yeah, I intend to hunt this fall, Danielle. We have, I got my vacuum packs here, and we do have freezers. Actually, I can remember to shut the one off. We run our freezer during the sunny part of the day, then I shut it off. That's on the other cabin, and the batteries over there are not that great.
He's gonna switch it over to this house where we have a better
Battery
system,
system.
better battery system, and a better system in general. He designed it, and then it'll have to run most of the time in summer.
Yeah. All right, Kevin in the Woods says, my wife Angie wants to know the number one thing you do not like about in Alaska. The big thing is how difficult it is to get certain things here. So getting certain items here is what the biggest
That's
issue is.
probably it.
Stuff that we took for granted down south, being able to just have something mailed to us
Right,
was
yeah,
easy.
mailing is not easy.
Here, just to sign up for Starlink, I had to get online today for the shipping. They wouldn't accept a PO box.
Right.
You go on Amazon, a lot of companies won't
Won't
deal with a PO box. So we had to go figure out what the street address was for a post office, and then put in suite number on it to be able to get stuff sent. So shipping is the biggest thing I do not like about Alaska.
And it's not an Alaska system that's making it difficult. It's all the other systems outside of Alaska
Yeah.
that are making it. They're just not cooperating with our system.
Yeah, you got to remember, Danielle, we are off the grid. We have we run a 24 volt system here. All the lighting is 24 volt. TV, coffee maker, or not coffee maker, but my mixer. There's not a whole lot that run off 120 here. The refrigerator, the freezers. Somebody was asking about the start. Oh, and we have lithium batteries. We use 2 24 volt lithium batteries to a total of 400 amp hours, and we never use more than 100 amp hours in a day. And it's almost always charged back up by noontime the next day.
Oh, the washing machine.
And the washing machine, we do have a washing machine. Matt, power consumption off the Starlink is between, I looked it up earlier, between 40 to like 80 watts. When it goes into snow mode, when you put in a snow mode, it goes up to about 150 watts. It's not very much. It's actually pretty passive, if you ask me. I mean, the refrigerator draws about twice that.
And it's a small fridge.
Yeah. And we don't have a really bad mosquito issue here. If you go down to the tracks, it's different because it's wet. We are up on a hill and it drains pretty well. But down at the tracks, you better have a whole full body mosquito net on down there. I mean, they'll carry you away.
We waited for the train last year one time, and Zeus was absolutely crying.
Yeah.
Oh, he could hardly wait for the train. He saw it coming, he heard it, and he could hardly wait to get on. He wanted to get on before it almost.
Yeah, Matt, on ship to PO box. I think it's also I think it's a size issue. I know it took an act of Congress to get FedEx to send stuff here. We had to get on a list saying that we didn't have a restrictors and stuff like that, and the PO box is the only way we do it. And we had to basically do the same thing, give them the street address and a box number, and then they finally started shipping stuff. But a lot of companies like on Amazon will not ship here. You're right, Nomi. It is a major shipping port. There's a couple of them here, I think. Well, we're up to 21 people watching.
Yay.
That's new. That's a lot.
Good. So my brunch bunch is not on yet.
They might be, you don't know.
Huh?
Speaking of mosquitoes, I used to tell tourists that this is what Alaska mosquito sounds like. And would drive the bus on the rumble strips. Damn near.
Yeah.
Down at the tracks, yeah, they were horrible. I actually down at the tracks when I was unloading yesterday off the train. I was like, oh.
Mm.
But I did see them, and I have a picture of it from last February down to spring. I had a mosquito land on me, and I was like, no, too early, go away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Brooklyn, when in the wintertime, one of us always stays here, and it's usually her.
I have not left this property. Well, the property and surrounding property.
She has been to town since September.
Town since September.
So she's got cabin fever.
A little bit.
But this coming year, if everything goes right, I'm going to be picking up a oil drip heater from some friends and putting that in. So if we decide to go to town, which we're hoping we won't have to at all this coming winter,
Yeah.
with the right planning,
Right.
we can leave the oil drip heater on, set to a low temperature to keep the house above freezing, so things don't freeze up. Hopefully that all goes good. We're going to put it kind of behind over there against one of the walls to kind of keep it away from everything and keep it center line with the peak of the house, so we can just run the flue right up. We don't see very many people up here, Brooklyn.
Very.
Mac came up, Carolina kid. He was up here for about 4, 5, 6 days. And we do have a local trapper that does stop by on occasion.
We ran in on the trail the other day. We went for a
walk
for the fun of it.
Right before I went into
Yeah.
town, we ran into him on the trail. Nice young gentleman. He's actually was Alaska's youngest licensed hunting guide. I think he's still on the
I
books
think he's
as the
still
youngest
the
licensed
youngest
hunting
ever
guide.
licensed.
And he's now 38. And I think he got his hunting guide license like the day after he turned 18. Bill says he had a canned corn at my remote cabin, and jars never lost their seal and never broke. Very nice. Yeah, it is a long time for her to stay at home. That's why we want to do something so she can come in and out if need be. The closest town to us, Original 6, is Talkeetna, and it's about I think as the crow flies, about 13 miles south of us, 14 miles south of us, somewhere around there.
It's a cute little town. It's very touristy.
Yeah.
But it has some high-end craft, which is appealing to me in particular. Very nice. And some friends of ours have some handmade birch baskets that are really charming.
Yeah.
So,
And they make custom knives and stuff like
the
that
knives
as well.
are wonderful.
That'd be the Mexican Moose. It's owned by the Owens family, and they treat us good. They're friends. We stay at their places occasionally. It is beautiful. You go down by the river and look up to the mountain, and it's really, really, really nice.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, I bet that does start sweating it once you thaw those things out. I hear there's going to be a meetup in August. Yes, you're right.
It's in the
And
groundwork.
Bill's reminding me of something. We are actually working on doing a YouTuber rendezvous here in Alaska on August 12th. We're working on getting a number of Alaskan YouTubers to come down and hang out with everybody so everybody can meet each other and have fans come in and meet everybody as well. Well, as we get more information on that, if you want to get on the mailer, drop me an email or drop Alaska Last Frontier Homestead or the Homestead Off Grid. Drop one of us an email and we'll get you some information. If you're a YouTuber and you're interested in taking part in it, let us know. You don't have to generally be just from Alaska to come and attend. It's open to everybody, contributors and viewers. That's one of my biggest concerns because I have hundreds of jars. God bless you, one. Only time I'll probably have that much is when I start doing moose.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, I'll probably have about 1,000. People don't realize how big these moose are.
Mooses are
I've heard old log cabins sweating when firing up the stove. Yeah, that can happen. Ask Bill. Bill had his cabin sweat a little bit, but he was using propane to keep it warm while he was finishing work in there. But if you let it dry properly, it's not an issue. It's not like it's gonna just fester and become black mold really fast. It takes a while for that to happen. Yep, it's gonna be a party, Matt. Hopefully you'll be up here by then.
Mm-hmm.
It was an
was an
oddity.
odd-
Last year was
It was dry until you started worrying about
fires.
fires and all kinds of bad things that happen in dry, and then all of a sudden it rained. And it didn't stop raining until
2.5
it
months.
snowed.
2.5 months it rained.
Solid.
It was ridiculous.
Just about every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
It says I've got a few hundred jars too, not a single broken jar in 9 years.
Wow.
And that's freezing all the time, Ed. That's pretty impressive.
Wow.
You want to come down and do some canning for us?
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty good. Bill says canning jars are made to be frozen and then heated up. As long as you buy quality jars, not the cheap ones. I tend not to buy cheap ones. It's one thing I've learned being on a boat most of my life and living aboard. I do not buy cheap because cheap usually breaks. I bought some cheap alternators and cheap starters for my sailboats, and 20 minutes later it was done. And I was like, okay, never doing that again.
Yeah, it's often
Yeah.
more expensive.
Yep.
More expensive to buy cheap. We thought about lithium batteries when we first came
Got
up
here, and then we bought some
And
lead acid, and
that was a mistake.
yeah, we should have just went with the lithium
Just
right
gone
away.
with the lithium right away. I was clueless and had no idea about any of it, and I'm still relatively clueless. But
Yeah, I wasn't clueless, but I was trying to be frugal with
he
money.
was very careful with the money to make it last. But it would have been wiser to just buy the best you can get.
Yeah. Let's see on here. Canning jars. Okay, Bill says it's meant to be frozen and heated up, so it's cool.
Wow, I
Seem-
didn't have any idea about that.
Yeah. Yeah, ball. We have ball and car, whatever you want to call it. We got a bunch of those. I think I've got about 300 up in the attic at the other house.
Good many of them. Some of them were here.
Our cabin. Appreciate you stopping by and saying hi. Dave says, "Don't tell me you had cans break was in the pressure cooker."
Oh.
Trying to see if I missed anybody's questions or anything they wanted to know or anything they said I want to reply to here. I don't see anything. If I miss something, guys, don't be afraid to ask me again. They've been having a lot of fires from lithium here lately, but they were those scooter. Yeah, the scooter batteries are totally different. They're not wired properly. And when you're taking something that is, to buy it, it's like $50 to $100. It's going to happen if it's not done properly, and then not meant to be out in the cold and not to be charged. It's a balancing system. Just like with lead acid batteries or AGMs, you have to know what you're doing to do it right. I mean, and it's not hard to learn. But I keep fire suppression here on hand just in case. I mean, you never know. But I'm a little crazy. I'm constantly monitoring my batteries to make sure they're okay. Yeah, well, most of them, Matt, are Chinese. Ashley. She's asking about the chicken coop. Yeah, Dave is correct. It is generally with those scooters, it is the charger making them explode. If it overcharges or charges at the wrong voltage, it's going to make them swell and it will make them pop. Bill's kind of being a smart ass saying what Ashley about the chicken coop. They're asking how the chicken coop's coming.
Well, the one we have is in it's more organized and tidy.
Yeah,
So
we didn't spend a whole lot of time doing stuff like that for the last year. So I mean, we kept it clean, stuff like that, but not organized. And I did pick up some nice cabinetry off Facebook Marketplace. I got 7 cabinets for like $40, and I hung them up. Starting to hang them up on the walls. I got all but 2 done, and it looks really good. And everything's getting more organized.
that's in transition from chicken house to machine shop.
Yep. I need to be able to have a place to work on my machinery.
That's important. It always needs maintenance.
Cluck you, Bill. Cluck you. And just for those that don't know, Bill and I are friends, and we know each other, so I like playing with him just like he likes messing with me. Had a friend whose MacBook battery swelled to about 1 inch thick, and she only knows to go into, wow,
Ooh,
that's crazy.
yikes. What was that thing?
That's email notifications. Yeah. I've never had a battery in a phone or a tablet or a computer go bad. Well, I've had them go bad, but I've never had them swell. Haha, Dave. I better get my coop built.
Yeah. And he doesn't
Yeah,
even have
you probably will, Dave, because you have snow.
tickets.
Yeah, that's it. You've got mail. That's what it was. It was an email notification.
Mhm.
Bill says, I'll get my coop built whenever I'm not so remote Alaska mills my lumber. All right, Danielle, you have a great night. It was good talking to you. Hey, post a link to Danielle's YouTube for me. You have-
Draft horses.
Yep,
Yeah.
Summerfield draft horses.
Right.
Good night, Oklahoma Grammy. It was good to see you here.
Good night.
Who all's left? Adam, Phyllis, you guys still here? If not, it's okay. I know Matt's here. I think Ed's still here. Thank you, Bill. I appreciate that. If you guys get a chance, check out Danielle's page. She takes in some draft horses. Recently had a mare come in that was in foal, and they had the baby at the house. Have a satellite desert over Alaska right now, according to the map. Are we still coming through okay, Matt? Oh, Ed's got the gel batteries. Is that the salt batteries, Ed, that you have? Yes, I do have a sawmill, Ashley. I actually am building a building around it this summer if I have
At
time.
least a roof.
At least a roof around it. Actually, I need to get it
Yeah.
off the ground because it's set on the ground right now on some logs, and
That's
it's not flat, so it doesn't cut very even. So as soon as I get that dug out, I've got to actually get that raised up before I can actually mill wood to do the chicken house. Don't give me shit, Dave. Excuse my language. And Bill. Excuse me. Talking too much and not drinking enough. Oh, it's got Battleborns. Battleborns are good. There's actually somebody local that's got, I think they got 10 or 20 Battleborns for sale, the 12-volt system. And I think they're asking like $500 a piece. Problem is how old are they and how abused have they been? I thought about it, but I was like, I'll stick with what I got. He's got the silicone gel around the outside battery box system. Okay. Yeah, those can actually take what, down to like 30 below it or something like that?
That could be an advantage.
Yeah, they are good. That's what Jason sold to Shannon and Carrie.
Oh,
Friends of ours, Shannon Cartwright is an artist up here, and she's a hell of a person. We went up to their place last year, and right actually around this time, and she's got the gel batteries up there, the silicone gel batteries or silicate, whatever it is, silicone. -30 to -40. That's pretty damn good.
yeah.
That's the only thing I do not like about the lithium.
Thank you.
You cannot charge them below 0, and you can store them down to like -5. So that kind of bothers me. But like I said, somebody's almost always here.
Yeah.
She don't like driving in the snow.
I don't. I haven't driven in the snow since I moved out of, well, even West Virginia didn't have much in the line of snow, but New York did. And when I had my cabin in Beaver Meadow in upstate New York, that was snow.
Close.
Almost,
And
yeah.
close a
We
couple
looked
times.
out the upstairs. There was the snow.
Links there, Bill. Appreciate that.
Yes.
Yeah, they are good. We had so much snow in Utah this year. It was nuts. Yeah, California got hit pretty bad too. Yeah, that's kind of how I am too. Brooklyn's frugal pantry. I'm leery of anything that you buy secondhand that either runs or is electrical, because you never
Right,
know
you
how it
never
was
know.
treated. I took chances on. I was picking up the 2 snow machines. Luckily, it hasn't been too many issues. The issue we have had, or the bad fuel, and then the issue with the Scandic being mangled up from the train, and not the train, but the transportation up here via the train.
System.
But other than that, we've been lucky. I mean, the Tundra, when we got it, we were told it had 3,400 miles on it. I get on it, started it up, and I'm looking at it. This is after it's been purchased, and there was a dot in there. There was 340 miles on it when I got it, and I'm right around 1,300 right now. And we've had it. We got it about 16 months ago. Ashley's asking, what are you planning to put the sawmill on? A foundation or blocks, maybe? Actually, I already have all the posts into the ground, and I'm going to just put 2x12s going a long ways, and then I'm going to plank it and set it up on there with 2x12s as well. And part of it's going to get a roof over, so I can go out there and actually shovel part of it off in the wintertime and use it in the winter. Because winter is the easiest time for me to bring large lumber in here with the snow machines.
And big heavy sleds,
Yeah.
long sleds.
No, they never left me any ties. They sell the ties. You can buy them. I don't know if they're having a sale this year, because I don't know if they've been working on any of the track system, pulling old ties out. There are a bunch of old ties down by our stop, but they've been there for about 15 years, and they're mush. Yeah, I heard that, Seashell, and I saw some pictures. I think one time that the snow was actually almost to the top of the ski lift towers. That was a little crazy. I showed you that photo.
You showed me the photo. Yeah, that was pretty wild.
She said over 2,000 feet. Some elevations only had a light dusting.
Wow.
What area?
No snow.
Yeah, I saw that picture of Seashell, and I was like, wow, that's crazy. I'm glad it's not here. Last winter, we had a lot of snow. Just in February, we had over 85 to 95 inches, if not more, in February alone. Matt says he hit all-time records there. We got as much as the Sierras did, but it's drier, so it compacted down or blew away. Yeah.
Ours is compacting now because it's so wet and
Been warm.
warm. But I don't remember it ever blowing away.
No. It says my outhouse only got half buried this year with the light snow,
Mhm.
with snow, light snow for your first. Yeah, it was a little bit on the light side.
It was light here.
Hey, Beth. Yeah, last year it was, I mean, there was a point we couldn't see out the windows at the cabin at all. I mean, granted, some of that was coming off from the roof,
It was.
but I mean, it was to the point where I had to go out and shovel it away from the edge of the roof before I could even push snow down,
Mhm.
off the roof to clear it. It was that bad. But that cabin's going to be getting a metal roof probably next spring.
So he won't have to climb up there and shovel.
I mean, sometimes you still got to clear out the valleys.
Yeah, there are valleys on
Oh.
that one.
Did you give me back, Seashell? Hey, Bien. That's Odyssey. That's Beth and Neil. Good to see you guys. All right, glad you got me back.
Mhm.
Beth, Neil, so you guys know this is first time I'm using my Starlink to do the live stream up here, so it's kind of hit and miss on the connection. But how's the connection been? Have you guys been losing me a lot, or has it just been a little bit here and there? See, I can see this lag on my phone.
Right. Yeah.
Matt says still not bad for partial satellite coverage. That's good.
Right.
That's really good. I want to see Miley leap through the snow. As Matt says, it's just been here and there that we've lost connection. So that's really not that bad. That's good. Hello, Jeanette. Little
Little
fizzy, but
fuzzy.
not bad. That's not bad. Oh. It's only glitched twice from Brooklyn. Ashley says here in my but sound and video very good. That's good.
Okay.
I'm glad it's
Yeah,
working.
really.
That was a really big concern of how it was going to perform tonight. So I had the cell phone on standby in case we needed to use it for the hotspot. Hopefully it's going to continue this way. Like I said, I expect to have some outages, but until they get more satellites up, it's not a big deal. I'm not going to cry or get upset about it. I mean, there's no point. I mean, I try to be as low stress as possible. I didn't let things just roll away. 720p stream can see all the details now. That's the video level, how clear it is, stuff like that.
Some of the details you don't want
Yeah.
to see.
Yeah. Anybody have any other questions? We're actually rolling right up on an hour here. I mean, I'll stay longer if you guys want. It's up to you. Bill, when do you leave to go down to the Mid-America meetup? It didn't make any pressure. The 18th. Okay, I'll be over there on the 19th to pick up my excavator. Actually, stay as long as you want. Like, I finally had the weekend off. Yay! I have every day off. I just work too much, anyways.
He chooses.
I know how to take a GPS tracker off. I don't, but I'll figure something out. Exactly, Beth.
Yeah.
Exactly. I try to be as stress-free as possible. I mean, obviously I'm getting gray, but you know what? I'm not going to let things get to me anymore. I used to, and I don't do it anymore.
It's nice because there's so
Thanks,
much
you didn't know me.
variety to do here that we can pick and choose what we feel like doing when we feel like doing it.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have high energy things, and sometimes you have sit down and think things. When I don't have the energy, I sit with a chair and I peel bark off logs.
Yeah, she's making the spin cabin.
Yeah.
I'll be filming and doing the second edition for the burl railings and stuff like that. The cabin coming up this coming week.
It doesn't take much thought.
Let's see here. Ed says he's off his phone and on his laptop, much better connection up to the live. Well, that's good to know. Maybe it's just a cell phone signal issue. I know I did get a notification early from one of the Aurora forecasts, and we had a kind of a high Aurora forecast coming in, so it could be an issue with the Lucifer cat. And Jeanette says, everyone, the gathering event this week in Palmer Fairground. Come say hello. We're at the front gate. I wish I could get out to go see that. I just got back into town yesterday, and I won't be able to get back into town. Well, we could Sunday.
Yeah, but
That's it. Can you get me tickets on that Cub? Bill, you won't need a tractor. Yeah. Nomi's right. Bill, you won't need a tractor. You will know where it's at. And Bill's Ed, I don't know, Ed. That's weird. He says it's odd because he's hot the same phone. Sold out a month ago in the Cub. Dang. That's all right. I don't have my wings yet, but I do know how to fly. I have flown. It's been a long time. It's been about 10, 15 years since I've flown. I would love to get back into it. And I just need to figure out a way to put a runway out back. I've got to pick up some land back there. The 4 acres we have is not going to cut
not
it.
gonna be enough.
Oh, Ed's got raffle ticket number 1 with the Carbon Cub. Nice, Ed. I went for a ride if you win that thing. Yeah, where are you going to find a flat spot to put that on? You have to land on the lake. Well, I mean, you can land up and go up and downhill on a plane. I've seen that. There's a couple places down Central America that are that way. You've never been in a plane or a chopper, Ashley? Wow. I've never been in a heli.
No, I've
Never
never
been
been
in
in
a
a
heli.
helicopter. My first plane ride, I was a kid, was a seaplane. And I flew in the Adirondacks with my mom, and we went to a cabin. It was remote, where her father had gone for overnights, and we just stayed for like an hour or so. And the pilot never left us there all by ourselves. I was like 10.
Jeanette says it's mine, Ed. Or Ed, it's mine. You got 4 tickets to that, huh? AFJ? Nice.
He jumped
What an
out.
air. Cletus on YouTube just got a Carbon Cub. What an airplane. Wow. I can imagine. I can only imagine. See, Shelley said she used to go in a helicopter with her dad.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of true, Ed. Ticket number 1. Hardly ever wins at a raffle, but you never know. May the odds be with you.
Yes.
Yeah, Brooklyn, I'm a little leery about helicopters. I mean, it took me a long time to go up on a plane. I didn't fly until I hit 27. And I started going, I started flying back and forth to New York when I was married and back and forth to see my wife from Florida. And then I got used to it. Then I was probably in my early 30s when I was up in light sport and ultralights and then experimental craft and general aviation. I used to fly in a Go Bosch a lot, the airborne trikes, it looks like a big hang glider with a basket underneath it with 2 seats and a big old engine on the back. Those I actually like because those you can't really stall out. I tried multiple times. I couldn't make a stall. And not very fast. I think they'd do about maybe 90 miles an hour, and that was about it. But I had one of those ballistic rockets that would shoot out the side if something happened and bring you down safely. Not that I trust that anyways. I have issues with aircraft that has to beat itself. Yeah, you're right, Dave. The helicopter's got to beat the air into submission to fly.
Hot air, seashell.
Actually, my dad was 82nd Airborne. You can't get him on a plane now, I bet.
Oh,
One of my old neighbors back in Florida, he was one of the last people alive that was part of the, what is that? It was part of the Airborne, but they basically were the original gliders division. They were known as death flying coffins. They would get towed up into the air and they'd have a lot of troops on it, let go, and a lot of them crashed. He actually did multiple trips in them and managed to live. I was impressed when he was telling me about that stuff. No. I've never had the desire to parachute out of a plane, Ed. I've been offered free rides and free training, and I got no use for that. Now, rappelling, I used to do up the sides of mountains. I still have some, well, I don't anymore, but I had some of my climbing gear up until about, well, when we came up here because they left it on the boat. Because I actually turned on my old climbing gear, my ascending and descending gear, into gear for climbing my mast of my boat. And I left it on the boat.
Oh, should have brought that for this.
Yeah, I should have bought that for the roof here.
Yeah.
I have a basic system here for going up and down. That's a
So
friction stop, kind of like an old figure eight system, but it's not. Get one of those giant blow up balls. You get inside.
Right.
I have no reason for my happy butt to a perfectly good working airplane. Unless it has to because the plane's going down.
And then it's not a perfectly good work.
Exactly. I will rather just be on the plane and go up. My father used to put me in a tire. Yeah, we used to do that on the farm. We had an old Ford 9N. Dad changed the tires on and me and my sister get in it down the hill, and it was quite far down the hill. I think she broke her finger or something like that. I can't remember. I think I burped a few times. Yeah, those were the good old years. I don't know how old you are, Ed, but I know I'm Gen Z, so we were feral. We did all kinds of crazy shit when I was growing up. Excuse my language. Brooklyn. My father was Italian, military, always told stories of Germans hitting his sub with torpedoes and mid. Yeah, that's crazy.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
That is crazy. My grandfather was actually most of my grandfather and most of his brothers were all World War II vets. So I heard a lot of stories from them. They didn't talk a lot to like their kids, but my grandfather talked to me a lot about the war, and it freaked him out. He was actually a cook in the army, but he did do some MP duty, and when he got out, he became a restaurateur, and then had the bakery. Yes, Gen X, not Gen Z. I'm sorry. I was reading something and there was a Z in it. Dyslexia kind of hits every now and then, you know. Yes, Gen X. Yeah, the oldest 25-year-old. I wish. That's what happens when you seeing too many things on the screen. I got this up here. I got the phone over there, making sure we keep connecting, things like that, and reading too quickly. And this dang tea doesn't have any caffeine in it.
No.
Yes, it did. The South Florida sun cooked my brain. It really cooked my brain. For those that don't know, part of the reason why we came up here is I had multiple heat strokes within a 2-month time period, and it was not good. For about a week or so, I walked around in a fog. I couldn't think straight, couldn't see straight, couldn't drive. And I got better a little bit, and doctor said either get out of Florida or you're going to be dead. So we wound up here. Total opposites. Went from 100-degree weather to 100 degrees below. Well,
It hasn't been that cold.
now the lowest we seen was last winter, and it was -25, and it was for like one day.
You just stayed in the house.
Let me look cover to see what I missed here. Ed talking about the tires. Yes, Gen X. Brooklyn. I put my stepson and I on a sauna tube and rolled him down. Yeah, we used to do that too. Broke his nose.
Oh,
You're the same way when you diagnosed with college student. No, it's I try to take health seriously. I recently lost a cousin who
yeah.
all of a sudden unexpectedly had issues. He went in for a heart surgery, I believe is what it was, and
Thanks.
within a day or so after that, he passed. He wound up having a major stroke, and he's only 4 or 5 years older than I am. And we are Portuguese, and Portuguese usually have hereditary heart issues, so it's something I try to keep an eye on. Hence, drinking the hibiscus tea. Hibiscus tea, anything that predominantly brews red is going to be something it's a blood tonifier. It's good for the heart, good for the blood system, good for the vascular. So I try to eat properly as best I can. I mean, I have a sweet tooth, but I generally make most of our sweets, as you guys have seen with the cinnamon buns, things like that. But I try to be as healthy as possible. I like my fats. I know exactly what caused it, but I'm feeling better, so I'm just making sure that I drink my teas, stuff like that. But they ran tests on my cholesterol and everything. And they said I'm in perfect health. I don't know why the blood pressure went. See, show. I have to go get lower in elevation. Had chronic bronchitis as a kid, and lungs don't like to dry, thin air here and more. Well, depends on where you go in Alaska. You might be might be a little higher elevation. We're only at 670 feet of elevation here.
And I think we hit a sweet spot. I was an asthmatic child and had bronchopneumonia a lot. And this altitude and this particular climate doesn't bother me at all.
No.
I've hardly even sneezed here. I don't have allergies.
She has sneezing fits. So
It's the fire. It's the wood fire. It's dusty. Zeus would never make me sneeze.
Nomi's telling he just got his notification about the video we did yesterday. Yeah, their timing is really off. Somebody said something about a notification earlier that was like 20 minutes after I started live. I got mine about 10 minutes after I started live on my phone, so it's a little on the weird side. Anybody have any more questions? That awkward silence.
YouTube just sent me those video yesterday. We sent a couple out to a couple of friends of mine in the Florida area, and
Don't know if they got it.
Upstate New York, they didn't show up, so maybe they didn't even get it. I don't know. I'll try to send out earlier next year.
Cute Jeopardy theme. Hello, Alone. Good to see you.
Oh my gosh. Good to see you.
Alone, so you know, we are testing Starlink. We have had very few issues with it tonight. There's been a couple little light fuzzies with it, but other than that, it's doing really good. Yes, better late than never. I'm glad we stayed on a little longer.
Yes, absolutely.
And I should be sounding better too, because thanks to a good friend of Florida, we got a new boom mic too. So. Sorry, my nose is itching. Dave, Alone, was it really you? Right, Dave? We're honored to have you here, Alone.
Absolutely. I'm delighted. Thank you.
Come on, guys. Come on. Throw some questions. You guys are doing so good for the first hour. Now we're 15 minutes into it, and you're like, and I'm teasing. All done on the hibiscus tea.
That's good.
Bill, Dave, make sure you toss up Alone's link for me. Upgrade plans for the summer? Not really. Mostly just trying to get things done. Aside, well, the only upgrade I'm really going to do is a chicken coop. But I have a lot to focus on. around this house. We need to get the underpinning done and then
We
have it
do.
insulated.
That has to be done.
Yeah. We went all this winter with no insulation.
And
We
it used
burned.
a lot of wood.
Yeah, we burned a lot of wood this year. We talked to friends that have a stove similar to our cooktop, and they only used about 4 cord this past winter, where we
And-
used probably about 8.
And their house is big.
No, it's the same size as ours. It's laid out
Oh, it
differently.
has, yeah. It
It's
has
laid
more
out. They're about
rooms.
1,890 square feet. We're right around 1,860. But with the walls and everything, we're probably closer to around 1,790 to 1,800 square. Alon's internet is spotty because she's processing video.
Oh,
Well, either way, it's
well.
good to have you here.
absolutely.
Yes, Bill is fast. So Ed reading alone.
Okay.
I'm just looking to see if I missed any comments or anything like that I need to respond to. We just got real
Alaska's
clear.
Getting ready for dinner.
We might have got a new link on the satellite.
We all just got real clear
Yeah.
for Beth.
So I think that was the satellite might be tracking. I haven't looked outside to see
It
which
could
way it's
be.
pointing right now.
No idea.
But it hasn't really moved all that much where I've got it. What I did is I don't have a ladder large enough or long enough, I should say, to get up to the very peak of the house to put it on the outside there.
Mhm.
So what I did is where the sawmill is, I have 5 poles in the ground that are buried. One's really tall. So I climbed up and put the satellite dish up on top of that. And so far it's working. Now I can't get up. I can get on the roof, Matt, but this is a 2-story house and it's metal roof and it's quite steep pitch and I don't feel like sliding off. So what I did is I put up there, as soon as I have a 35-foot ladder, I will put up at the peak for better coverage. And Dave's talking about the Alaska Tuber Rendezvous that we're planning out for August 12th
Mhm.
of this year. We're hoping to get some more. Dave and Bill, how many people do we have interested in so far? I know it's us 3. Bill, you had said something about you had a couple other YouTubers that were going to be coming. And Mr. Lone, if it's something you're interested in, you would be more than welcome.
Oh gosh, you'd be the star. It's going to be in Wasilla at a park one day.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a 1 day, unless we get a lot of people coming in. Then we might have to
something-
change it to
yeah.
more.
Sure. I'd love to have it here, but it's hard to get here. And it's hard to get away
we
too.
wouldn't be able to get that many people up here.
Or back out of here.
Well, the train actually starts running on a regular basis starting next week.
Yes. That
Yes.
would be helpful.
Yes, actually, that's right. John Alaska said he would be there
Oh, good.
with beer in hand, and he's going to open a kissing booth. So alone, you might not want to come.
You can come just hide.
Alone, send Dewey. I doubt Dewey can get away from work.
Mm.
Yeah, Matt. Oh yeah, John's kissing booth. Wildwood Off Grid, MC, Mad Mods, Rutherford Roamings, Alaska Cut the Cord, John in Alaska, Curmudge Inn, Alaska's Last Frontier Homestead, and the Gnomestead Alaska Off Grid.
Ta-da! That'd be good.
Alone. I would be lucky just to get her to one of my live streams, right? We haven't seen Dewey in a while.
Mhm.
Yes, that's right. I remember Rutherford Roaming said they were going to be in.
Okay.
And I've got to send out a couple emails to some of the ones I know, like Alaska Ballistics and a few others, see if they might be interested. Bill, when you get a chance, send me a link to that, where that park is. I'd like to see how big it is and see what the layout is. The real Dewey, not the imitation one. Yeah, I'm going to actually put that forth to Sean during his next live when I see him. I watch his lives every week, so I'll say something to him at that time.
You're a good little networker.
Those that don't know, I used to be a journalist, so I can be quite chatty. And then being up here in the bush and not talking to people, I get bush syndrome. So I can, blah, 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 blah. Somebody else is guilty of it too. Yes, I'll add the Excel. I don't know if I can even use Excel. I don't think I have it on my computer, Bill. So I'll just send it to you and you can add it on there. Because I don't think I have Excel on this Mac. I haven't done any spreadsheet work in years. That's fine. Okay, cool. Alone. I'm right there with you both. Yeah, I try not to sit in front of the computer too much. I mean, editing is one thing. I mean, if I've got to check Facebook or something like that, I'll just use my phone. I'd rather not be sitting there tinkering with all these programs. I got too much other stuff to do.
In the physical world,
Yeah,
the real world.
but I mean, we're gonna be peeling the banisters for the cabin tomorrow or Sunday. Get that ready. Alone, Kenai gets tired of me talking his ears off. Talkeetna was a funny comment a while back. Talkeetna, yeah, it is Talkeetna because everybody talks, and it's not just because they're in the bush; it's because some just like to talk. Oh, and I'm hearing dripping. It's the condensation on the water tanks in the back of the stove. I don't know if you guys can see that. Those silver things right over my right. It's gonna be left shoulder, I think, or that one there. Whatever shoulder it is, the water's condensating inside the tank because the stove is cooling down.
Oh,
And I'll start it back up before dinner, and we'll just do a light burn. Otherwise, it gets way too hot in this house.
Yeah.
And I've got to get a
this
pedestal
season
fan.
especially, yeah.
I've got to get a pedestal fan because the bedroom is just way too warm. Oh, I love that stove too, Brooklyn's Frugal Pantry. It's amazing. Yeah, Chatty Cathy. All right, so I just had an Aurora forecast come up. We're having a KP index of 5, so it might get a little wonky. You never know. Yep, time for the outdoor kitchen. Well, we predominantly this time of year we'll use the little propane range that I put in. It's a 2-burner one, and use that to do basic food cooking. But yeah,
Getting water for coffee.
one of my goals this summer, once I have the chicken coop done and some of the other buildings a little bit more organized, is milling enough wood to build a deck off the front. We have a porch.
Yeah.
But I want a deck going further out so I can put my summer kitchen out there. I just put a little roof over it and use that in the summertime. It just, I don't like the heat. I do not like the heat. I mean, it's warm in here right now, and we haven't really had the fire going, and it's over 70 in here,
75.
and I'm warm. You're a good listener. Let me see if I miss anything here. All right, Chatty Cathy, time for the outdoor kitchen, definitely. You have no idea. So, seashells in California, looks like Brooklyn is too. Yeah, I've been cooking on propane, Brooklyn, for a long time because my sailboat had propane stove, and then Sarah's house had propane stove. You know, and then we had propane stove at the other house over here, the cabin, and we put this in last year. You know, less we actually had it hooked up in February of 22.
Right.
And it's been pretty much a constant use, but it's been regular use since then because we didn't move into this until July, right, like a day or two after Sarah's birthday, we moved into this house. But we do have the propane stove in here, but it's just a 2-burner, you know, so it keeps us, so we don't have to have the fire going in the summertime because it just get too warm. You know, I mean, I'll turn it on this weekend to do my bread baking. I've got to get some, well, I'll do some bread this weekend, but I've got to, if we go into town on the 11th with the first hurricane train, I'm going to need to make some cinnamon buns.
Yes, for the.
I might have to make them anyways and just hand them off to Bill as he goes by. Conductor Bill is friends of ours, and we kind of give them sweets. I gave him the option of bread or cinnamon buns, and he says, "I like big buns, hon." So we're all showing rage if we know that song. So I'll probably, if I'm not going to get on the train, I'll still go down and throw some cinnamon buns at them. I need to make some cookies, things like that as well.
Cookies.
Well, alone, we try to take care of them because they take care of us.
They
You know,
really do.
If you, I'll see if I can find any of the pictures and stuff and post them in a video of what it looked like when we came here. We look like the client that's coming up the tracks.
Oh, it was.
They have
Yeah.
these big plastic totes that are fair size, and we had them overflowing 5 times.
Yeah.
We did that, and they every time we get to like, oh God, they're here.
Yeah.
And I'm efficient when it comes to packing.
He is.
Everything fit. I mean, there's a lot in each one of those totes, and we get there, and I'm just toss it at me, and I'm getting out and get it onto the tracks, and it wasn't an issue. And they're just, that was quick.
Yep.
I'm like, that's right.
Mhm.
I'm efficient. It's got to be efficient. It's got to be done quick. I know you guys are on a time schedule, but the hurricane train really isn't on a time schedule. The hurricane train is the low train on the totem pole. If there's something going on, they get pushed aside. But because of stuff like that, and I have, I smuggled some chickens up on the train.
I
They
don't
didn't hear any peeps, so I treat them well because you're not supposed to do certain things on a train, and I had them let things slip, so I take care of them. I shouldn't be saying anything on here. For all I know, the train's going to watch and they're going to get in trouble, and I don't want that to happen.
No.
If you're going to come at them, come see me. They're good people. Our friend Mary, the kind of like the SO or safety officer or whatever you want to call her. She calls herself her train attendant, not a flight attendant. She is a sweetheart. We've become really good friends with her. She's been up here a time or two. I actually helped her move some of her stuff into her new place that she's renting from Shannon Cartwright while I was in town. And she's really good people. Everybody we've met with the train so far has been really good people. Some people have issues with the train while it's running late. Well, it's not the conductor's fault. It's not the train's fault. If they have something going on, they're stuck. They can't do anything. Like the first one over here, the 1st February, they had 8 moose walking down the tracks, west south of Fairbanks, just north of the park. They were 17 hours late.
The moose wouldn't get off.
The moose wouldn't get off the tracks, and you can't just mow them down.
You can't.
So they were 17 hours late.
Hit
Yeah, too many of them get hit.
accidentally.
But people get mad when they're late, and it's like, why get mad? I mean, they've been 2 hours late for us.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do? You can't cry about it. You sit there and wait. If you don't want to wait any longer, you go home. Easy as that.
Don't get to go.
And if you got an emergency, call a helicopter. Get out. Let's see. I think I missed something here.
But they will. Our friend Mary will go to the grocery store in town and pick us up emergency items like ice cream.
Yeah, and bourbon.
And bourbon, and put it on the train for us. And they will. Sometimes they just slow down and
hand it off. Actually, it's on one of the videos,
Yeah.
one of the shorts I did. I think.
and we appreciate the safety issues.
Brooklyn saying she's scared of moving the food storage out of everything. Yeah.
Mm.
Yes, Jeanette, moose don't move. They are ornery. They're worse than most animals I've ever seen. And they'd rather turn you into a puddle of mud quicker than a bear would. Don't trust a bear before you trust a moose.
That's stumpy.
Let's see. Matt's talking to Brooklyn about food storage.
Mm.
All the mail hooks for trains in the old westerns. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep. I remember that in the old western shows. Yeah, it's definitely a slower lifestyle, Ashley.
You
Yeah.
just have to be a little more organized
And not be in a rush.
and not be in a rush.
I mean, it's being a 9 times out of 10 when I was out sailing, I was solo. I've got a lot of miles under my tail, sailing the oceans. And on a sailboat, you're not in a rush.
You're not in a rush.
I mean, my sailboat would average maybe 7 to 8 knots. If I was on a good trawler, I might hit 12 if I was moving a boat for a customer, but I'm used to a slow pace and I like it that way. If you're going too fast, life passes you by really fast. If you're going slower, you get to see the flowers and smell them. not just zip by them.
And ask him, I don't move as fast as I used to either.
Nor do I. Any more questions, guys? Yeah, I'm on up track time.
Yes.
Yes,
It
alone?
suits us.
Yeah, I agree. A slower way life is the best life.
It is. It's really good.
Brooklyn, yes, it does. I blinked and I'm old.
Yeah.
We all got that way.
Some of us faster than
Yes, yes. Some of us a lot faster than others.
others.
I wasn't pointing at you. Goof. Actually, it's well worth it. Do what you can. Get to where you need to be. You know, I've always strived to be able to do what I want. I've busted my tail so many times to do what I wanted to do. I've gone without so I could save the money to get what I want, to do what I needed to do for me. You know, I mean, it took me 5 years to save up for my first liveaboard sailboat. And I was making decent money, but at the same time, I blew a lot of money. And that old adage, you know, the more you make, the more you spend, is very true. It is very true, unless you're extremely frugal and you pinch every penny. You know, I've owned multiple businesses. I owned many years. I owned a dive company working on boats underwater. You know, I made really good money. I worked for West Marine. I would do underwater lightning strike inspections. I made damn good money. I mean, I could make $10,000 in a weekend just inspecting lightning strikes down in Miami, you know, between Miami and the Keys. And I socked it all away, bought the boat. And then as I kept going on, if I wanted something, I'd do it out until I had the money to buy what I wanted. At one point, I had 2 sailboats, multiple cars. My second business was a tea company. I started that up, did really well. And then I started up my maintenance company, my marine maintenance company, and I did extremely well. I mean, I was winning awards through the local areas from all the people. I mean, I probably see them on my Facebook, you know, where I won. You know, I take to be done right the first time and not have to come back and do it a second time. Let's see if I'm missing anything. Madison's 39 and already for that slower life, right?
Well,
Frugal senior citizen, according to my grown kids. I did experience some amazing stuff. Ashes away from my youngest to beach. How many guest cabins do you have or will you have? We came to the conclusion, we actually have 2 other cabins here. We have the Trapper cabin, which is a 1-room cabin. And then we have the cabin that we lived in last year, which is 80 square feet. We are going to be renting that one out as soon as it's finished and I have all my licensing in order. The Trapper cabin is actually going to be Sarah's art studio. We decided to just turn.
kind of, I tried to do it some earlier on that looked a little bit like that. One of my favorite potters is Lino Tagliapietro.
Are we still connected, guys? Maybe we might have lost connection.
Oh, no, probably while I was talking, that's all right. It's fine.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, great, you're on.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Just, it's one of those, the glitches
It's
with
one
the
of
satellite
those
dish is
things.
probably tracking, finding another one, so we're good.
Yeah.
I just noticed it come up on my phone saying I didn't have a connection on to the internet because the phone's hooked up to it too.
Okay.
So we're good. All right. Did you guys see the stuff I showed you? The pot? No, the
paper.
the paper?
The paper sculpture.
Nope, it was on our end, Seashell. Oh, Lona says she didn't see it.
No? Well.
Did we want to see it? No. Did you see it? Hang on, let me go get it again.
Okay. It's made out of banana leaves and recycled paper.
Can you guys see it?
A little bit of wire up in here.
Well, this is the kind of stuff that
That's
Sarah
the kind of
makes.
stuff I used to do.
She still can.
I still can. I'm thinking about. It was really funny. We made fireweed jelly last year, and you have to boil the flowers, and they boil down. And I said, how am I going to get rid of all this pulp? And when I said pulp, it dawned on me. I'm
And
gonna
I
try to
said, make paper. So we have a
we'll
bunch in
see
a bag.
We'll see what that happens. It takes a lot of pulp.
That's kind of the artsy stuff she likes to do. I can pretty much do whatever I set my mind to. I like working with wood. I have my wood lathe here. Finally, my buddy John got it sent up here with my mom's stuff.
Really good.
So I have my wood lathe here. I'm waiting on a couple of attachments to show up for it. I got my new belt. I got to put the belt on it, and I can start turning stuff again.
That'd be really nice.
And I have a bunch of small burls I can turn into bowls and things like that. Not smoking bowls. I'm talking bowls that hold
That
things.
whole things, yeah.
You need a. Dave says he needs a gnome hat that looks like the bowl. Oh, your
Your
sculpture.
yeah, I do. I'm working on felting a little bit. I have some materials to use, but it's quite messy, and I didn't want to do it in the house. So we'll see how that goes. And talk about messy. Paper is seriously messy. Everything I do is messy.
Yep.
Pottery, paper, felt, all takes water and mess.
Yeah, it's wet. So that's what we're going to put her in the traffic cabin.
Right.
Well, and put some linoleum down on top of the hardwood.
Right.
I think it's a plastic wood that's in it, but I'm going to put it on it so it doesn't make too much of a splash.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I don't know why they put that floor in.
Yeah, no, the son was put in there by the prior owner.
Right. But we're thinking about linoleum in the kitchen.
Here for
I'm
now.
tired of cleaning this plywood.
And somebody had a splinter in the foot I had to pull out earlier.
Oh, yes.
But I'm gonna be milling a bunch of birch to do the floor. And once I get it dry, it's gonna take a couple years for it to actually dry.
And that will be fine. And linoleum is really easy to clean. I may even invest in a Swiffer.
Yes, felting is actually quite messy alone.
It's messy.
You have to get that felt wet and you got to work it and then shape it while it's damp. Helen says she needs flooring too. That's why I'm going to go with the birch floors. And it's just going to take time.
Birch will be beautiful.
You get into some of the heartwood. Let me show you what some of the heartwood looks like.
But in the meantime, we'll do a little bit of that. We put linoleum in the hallway because when we were building the house, this piece, I love this piece.
This is a butcher block I made when I first got here, and you can see nice movement in the wood. I like to do stuff like this.
And he made a really nice knife rack for our friends who make knives. And we're hoping that he can make some more of those, and maybe he can sell them.
Actually, it's much more messier than paper bag counter, Dave.
Oh, yeah.
Well, says I get splinters all the time. Yeah, no, splinters are not fun. I missed any questions here. Bought repaired a few vintage sewing machines and sergers to teach myself to sew. Yes. I was my class was one of the last ones that actually had to take home ec. And alone, I think you were talking about this the other day in your live. We were probably one of the last ones that took home ec, and I learned to sew at a young age, but in my household, we were taught we had to do everything. You learned as much as you possibly could. And I learned to sew in school, and I continued doing it. When I was in, I think, 7th grade, I made my own trench coat.
Wow.
Back in the 80s, the trench coats were big. So I made mine, and I still make things. But I transferred that, a lot of my sewing over to doing leather. I do work leather occasionally, but I still sew. I mean, as soon as I can get a cheap sewing machine, I want to make the blinds for in here to cover up till we get nice, Roman shades or something like that made. Ooh, we've seen the notification pop up alone. We haven't. Generally, so some of you guys know, when we're eating our dinner, we'll put the YouTube up on the TV and watch all of our favorite YouTubers while we're eating. So if you get a like and a comment a day or so later after the video's been on, it's because we've watched it already. But then I got to go back and watch it again so I can make comments. And make sure you get a like.
And I am not quite computer literate. And so when I get onto a site, I don't even know how to like. And Rob's teaching me, but so far he's been pushing the like button, and I'm not quick enough to know where it is.
Not touching the phone anymore.
No more.
She's trying to kick me.
Yes.
I had a home ec, but was a tomboy, so shop club. See, we had to do both, Brooklyn. We had to do shop and home ec.
And that makes sense.
Yeah. And see, when I was taking home ec, you know, I think I did it in the 6th or 7th grade. I kind of pissed the teacher off in the cooking department because I grew up in my grandfather's bakery, and having the family I did, we always did a lot of cooking, and we always did the cooking together. So I went in and did the class for home ec, and they were having to make cookies, and I made all kinds of chocolate chip cookies, and everybody loved them, and the teacher was not happy.
Because it wasn't the assignment.
Yes. Well, I didn't use all the same ingredients she wanted us to use. She wanted us, it was kind of like a bland cookie. And I made my cookies the way my mom and my grandfather taught me.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, Sarah will tell you, I mean, I love cooking. I enjoyed it. I mean, I was a chef for a little while, and I'm not perfect at cooking, but I'm a good cook. I've never had anybody complain about my cooking. I've been accused of making a few X's fat. And I said, no, that's like, you know, blaming somebody, you know, for drinking too much on the can. You know, you're the one that chose to eat it, not the can.
Right. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. We had wood shop, we had cooking, we had home ec, basic things, checkbooks, making sure you can balance your checkbook, stuff like that.
My grandmother taught me that when I was little.
See, actually, we had all our stuff like that was actually in junior high that we had home ec and stuff.
Yeah, mine was junior high.
Yeah. And I was in a small town. When I left my hometown, we only had like 10,000 people in it. And when I went back, I didn't go back until 40,000 people there. It's like the 3rd largest city. It's like, oh, I'm out of here. You know, and my dad's been in the same farm since he was born, and he bought it from his dad in the 60s. You know, he's now, yeah, the house is actually from the 1600s. It's one of the oldest houses it's actually, I think, the oldest house in our town, because it wasn't in the incorporated town. They don't count it as being part of the town. I had 2 vintage white 423s and 2 white. Okay, nice. Those are good ones. Actually, one of the things I helped our friend Mary move the other day was an old white treadle. She's going to restore the base, but the treadle actually still works in the sewing head itself. I like the old sewing machines. My mom and I did a lot of embroidery. Where's my tea towel? I can show you what I did. Taught you how to count change. Good. That's good, Dave. Everybody needs to learn how to count change. You're not going to be able to see this, but this is stuff that me and my mom did. It was on a machine. We had a program and stuff like that, but that was for my tea company. That was Prosperity Tea. You know, and I've got a bunch of different ones like that. I did all my stuff for the tea shop myself, instead of paying somebody else to do it.
I used to do crewel hand work and embroidery.
That's good, Brooklyn. You should always be able to tinker and fix things as you go. That's it. That's important. You know, on the farm, we always had to work on things. Usually, you know, Dad once, and then I go down and try to figure out the right way. He was a good mechanic. Don't get me wrong, but he was one of the ones that, well, I'll just put a Band-Aid on for now. I'll get to it next week, and that doesn't work for me. I like to do it and fix it right the first time. So he told me how to not do it, putting Band-Aids on it. The next brother up I have, Donnie, he's still dealing with some of the stuff at the farm. He doesn't live there. He lives in California, but he goes back and helps do some maintenance around the property. And he just shakes his head at some of the things that Dad does or did. Unfortunately, my dad has early onset dementia now and doesn't do a whole lot. The medication does help him, but he's not allowed to go out and run his tractors anymore. Wants to help. I told you, Dave, if I can find another machine, I'll sew the teepee for you. That's not an issue. Ashley, there you go, Ashley. Come on up and fix the Nomi's teepee.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, I did not bring my cell right up here when I came up. I wish I had. Alone rebuilt the engine in her sister's Ford Explorer. Nice.
Wow, good job.
Good for you, Alone. Yeah. You want to come up work on my diesel? I'm great with the MR diesels, the marinized versions. This one I have here has been driving me a little nuts because it's a standalone engine. It's not marinized. So I've got to fix the governor system on it. So I've got to get into that soon. You've got a sewing machine, Dave? Which one? If it's not going to sew through that material, you're not going to have fun with it. You're going to be breaking needles.
Mm.
Oh, hatchback EXP. I'm sorry. That was the Ford Escort EXP. The hatchback. Was it the 2-seater? It was. I had the same car. But no, I living on a boat and traveling on it, I always had a sewing machine on me to fix my sails. And the sail rights are hell of a sewing machines. They're heavy duty. You can almost sew leather with them. Yep, it was a 2-seater. Yeah, those are good little cars. But like I was saying earlier, being on the boat, I learned a lot about being self-sufficient. And then when I started my marine businesses up, especially the last one, that was called All Aboard Boat Service is what it was called. I learned even more. I was self-taught on everything, solar, all of it. And I started getting good at it. And people just, hey, come over, give me a hand real quick, Rob. And then one day I said, you know what? I'm just going to turn this into a business.
Mm-hmm.
And before the first year was out, I had to hire multiple people.
Yeah. And
her daughter's boyfriend was one of them. So Dad said I had to learn to fix anything I was going to drive. If I was going to drive, yep.
Mm-hmm.
Got to change your tires and drive.
Yes.
And fix.
My father.
Go ahead, talk. I got to move something.
Oh, don't talk.
No, go ahead. I got to move this thing.
My father wouldn't let me drive until I had learned how to change a tire. So he showed me what to do, and then I had to do it from scratch myself. So I changed a tire. That's the only time in my life I have changed a tire.
No, that's.
I know
that's too light. Make another one.
Mm.
Oh, I know what it is. It's up high.
It is.
Sorry, we're getting glare from the window.
You're right. I think that's better.
There we go.
It's
more.
glare on my face, but that's all right. If I move my face.
There we go.
Yeah, that's better.
Unfortunately, our west-facing wall has got 4 large windows in it. Well, not large, but they're there. And it lets a lot of the afternoon lights in where, like I was saying earlier, we got to get some Roman shades. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to make stuff, sew some stuff up just to cover for now, as soon as I get my hands on the machine. Mm-hmm. So you'll see what we missed here. I have a Singer commercial grade. Oh, okay, Dave. Yeah, that'll work. That'll work. I didn't know you had that. Next time I'm over, just let me know. Let me see it. Jeep Patriot. Head gasket job. Nice, Ashley.
Wow.
Yeah, unfortunately, we when we lose the ones we love that we learned from and we cared a lot about, it's hard, and they can teach us so much. I lost my grandfather when I was in my 20s, and he was my idol. I looked up to the man. Yes, it is about using the right needle, but some machines can't handle heavy stitching or heavy material.
And believe it or not, the hardest fabric I've ever sewn on is silk. It needs a really sharp, kind of thin needle, and the bobbin has to be just right, and it's
yeah. Actually, my hair is longer than Alone's. And I just always keep it pulled up. Being Portuguese and Irish, my head is really curly. And as I've aged out, I was actually born with like blonde hair, and then went red, and then went to mahogany, and then went brown, and slowly it's going gray. But it's actually quite long. She says she has both of us beat. Mine's about a quarter of the way down my back.
The only color my nails have ever had is dirt. Yeah.
Dave, I'm still finding videos of yours. I haven't had time to go through every one. If I did, nobody else would get videos watched. You get a lot of videos, brother.
Yeah.
And I watched a bunch at your house the other day when I was over there with you at Brandon's house the other day. Oh, I was like, what's that noise? It's Zuby. Hey, Zeus.
I don't hear.
Zeus, come.
I hear the clock ticking.
Up. Now all he's got to do is stretches.
There's our funny boy.
Look.
Zoopy Zoo.
You're on YouTube. What?
What?
All right, go away. He is a good pup.
He is a good dog.
I'm watching
He's
what's
smart.